panelists and dear guests. Good morning. A very warm welcome to the Bangalore Toastmasters special meeting. Are you up for a small activity?
Yes.
Yeah? It's too early for us, right? So we have to wake ourselves up. Rajdeep sir, you can keep seated. You can remain seated, and the rest can stand. Okay. So you just need to follow me, right? Clap, tap, and stop. Clap, tap, stop. You have to just read those two. Okay? Very simple.
Phone lock. Keep quiet. Keep the phones quiet.
Okay. Exactly. So, can we ensure everybody?
Yes.
Yeah? Alright. Okay. Another one. You are familiar with this. Yeah? Okay? Loud? Anyone?
Don't
speak about religion, sex, and politics.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir. And finally, yeah, you go.
When the speaker is on stage or someone's on stage, only when
You hear
applause.
applause.
If you exit the hall, no breakfast.
Thank you so much. So you know the instructions. Are we all set?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, there are two important days in our life. One, the day when we are born. And the second, the day we find out why. Right? The person I am going to invite here on stage, for that person, knowing the why is really important. He wants to remember why in every part of his life. For example, at any time when the marriage or he has a fight with his wife, he wants to remember why he got married at the first place, right? Now, to such an extent he wants to remember why, that he has a hashtag for the whole term, which is called hashtag remember why you started. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together in welcoming the most important and the one and only President of Bangalore Toastmasters Club, Sheeb Kumar.
Out of all the introductions I have received so far, that was the most recent one. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amrit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters meeting number 1474. I declare the meeting open. The minutes of the previous meeting was circulated by our Secretary Toastmaster Mahesh Lokesh. Are there any changes or amendments? No. The minutes of the meeting 1473 stand as passed. You know what is so special about today's meeting? There is no hour counter today. And yes, and there is no grammarian today. You can use your was or is whatever you want. You can make your present tense and maybe the past perfect also. Don't worry. And the icing of the cake for me is there is no gender dividation. In honor of that special feeling, I've done something which I've never done before. I've written 4 lines. I call it a small poem. So it's about Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was a great king. He ruled many men. He gave long speeches. People killed him. So today, I'll be so brief. So, John Quincy Adams once said, if your actions inspire people to learn more, to dream more, to do more, to become more, you are a leader. Our next person who is coming on stage has checked all those boxes. And to my surprise, above all, she has all the time in the world to reply to WhatsApp messages within 2 minutes. Wait a minute. All of us got 24 hours. Did she bargain for more? She is an electronic engineer, now working with Nokia as a senior development engineer, past area director, and the past president of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. She always carries an invisible ladder like a leader to help others to reach new heights. And moreover, she is a life coach to many without consultation fees. So ladies and gentlemen, please let me welcome the MC of this morning, the vivacious and the multi-talented Toastmaster Priyanka Rannorey.
Thank you, Mr. President. What a beautiful Saturday morning, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. A very good morning, fellow Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Good morning. Right now, Bryan, Kenneth and I are going through a major FOMO. Any idea of why?
Didn't go to
Generally, every weekend, our morning starts with a long run at Kabul Park. To just make us ease out things for us and make us feel better, I request all of you to please rise from your seats. And let's do a little bit of a stretch, a short stretch. So we start with an ankle rotation. Clockwise and anti-clockwise.
Priyanka the trainer.
A shoulder stretch, that is the lower arm stretches towards the other opposite direction. Yes.
Slowly.
Yeah. The other hand. Let's lift your leg up and down.
Hey, this is not the way to get in your Kabul Park exercises.
That's
all.
So you all done. Please have your seats now. Thank you so much.
You take a jog of 2.
So you helped us feel a little better now, though you help us not missing Kabul Park that much. Thank you so much for that. Now since you all done your warm up and I get up, I have a simple question to all of you. A simple rule. Whoever knows the answer, please raise your hands and you only have 10 seconds to answer. Okay, so you all have to be quick. What is large on Saturday and Sunday, small on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and disappears on Monday and Friday? Whoever has the answer, raise your hand and your time starts. Okay, I see 3 hands. Only 3 hands.
Yes.
Bala. Okay, the answer. Yes, the answer is S. You had some other answer. The answer was very. The question was very simple. The answer was in the question itself. But all of us had a perception and perceived that the question is something very complicated. Right? Right now I'm reading a book written by Ryan Holiday. And very beautifully he explains about how we live in a very perceived world. And he says, if there is one thing, one needs to act on something, that is perception versus perspective. What is perception? It is nothing but the way we see the world and we believe that is our reality. And it's so ingrained in us that that is everything for us, and we argue with our closed ones or even convince them that that is the reality, whatever we are perceiving. On the other hand, what is perspective? Perspective is nothing but how we see the world outside ourselves. The way we try to understand and put ourselves in their place and think like that. That is perspective. It is so important that we understand what people think or are going about. And only if we try and understand others, just not ourselves, we will grow. As a human, we also grow in our perspective. And that is very important in today's world. Otherwise, we are all going to derail, living in our own perceived world. How many of you remember about the 2014 Nestle Maggi crisis? Remember?
Yes.
Nestle is a brand that we all trust. And this is one of the case studies that even I lately understood when I was doing my product management course. Never thought so much in depth. Only when I did this case study, I actually went through the depth. A brand that we trust blindly. Their marketing strategy is fantastic. So good that we blindly trust whatever product that they launch. Right? Maggi was one such product. And why did Maggi gain that kind of attraction? Because it was a 2-minute instant noodle, something very easy for all of us. Just put boiled water, put the Maggi, and our tummy is satisfied. Right? But when in Uttar Pradesh, one of the health research team did a research on Maggi noodles, found out that they had more than permissible level of MSG and lead. Initially, they did not act when it came into the news, but only when things blew out of proportion, the management acted upon it and accepted that what they did was wrong. And for almost a year, they had stopped manufacturing Maggi until they could build that trust. Nestle was successful in creating a perception to us that it is a trusted brand. So it's not only a perception that we see and we create, we can also get influenced with regard to perception and believe that is also reality. You know what was even more sad during the research, market research, was that parents preferred that product a lot because of their work schedule, and that was the easy way to feed their kids and help them, have their tummy full and not have them annoy them when they are working. And during that period of time, it hit the mothers very badly when they got to know that they were feeding something unhealthy for their kids. So it's very important that we not only break that stereotype of thinking that we live in a very perceived world of ours, or if somebody else is trying to influence and making us believe that is the reality. My request to all of you is, go a step ahead and think, is it really good? Do your own research. And when it comes to your close ones, try to put yourself in their place. One of the biggest perceptions that we Toastmasters, at least majority of us over here have, is table topics is the most challenging section for us. If our day has not gone well, or if we're not mentally prepared with the story, we just pray that we are not called onto the stage. Am I right?
Yes.
To break this kind of a stereotype thinking of ours, we have someone with us. He is a founder of BPCE Toastmasters Club Mysore, currently a member of First Rannorey Toastmasters Club, my fellow area director in the year 2022-23. He has a great passion for music. And he plays, sings and dances like a pro, and I am the witness for it. During our district parties, I have seen him. Please join me in welcoming the district champion of Table Topics and International Speech Contest of the year 2023-24, none other than Toastmaster Suman Somaiah.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. So I will not be dancing or singing today, if that's fine with all of you. Today I am here to speak to all of you regarding something which we all dread, fear, but we always anticipate, impromptu speak. So as we are all aware that Table Topics is the impromptu speaking section which we conduct in every Toastmasters meeting. Even today we are going to have a Table Topic section. And I hope that everybody is looking forward to it and nobody is afraid of it. And if you are afraid of it, I'm going to give a few points which might help you tackle it a little better. So just want to understand, do we have any guests in today's meeting who are non-Toastmasters, first-time Toastmasters, or have no idea about Table Topics? Nobody, which makes my job much easier. This also is an impromptu exercise for me to try and understand how much and what people know about Table Topics. So can we get a few answers about what your interpretation or an idea of Table Topics is? So can we get the first answer I want to get from a previous district champion who we have here, Toastmaster Rajdeep.
What is Table Topics?
Yeah, what is Table Topics according to you, sir? Because I'm pretty sure everybody has their own answers, but we want a foundation from your side.
Basically, thinking on your feet and connecting with the topic as fast as possible and delivering some message to the audience which is succinct and carry home something for them to think about.
Perfect. So basically something does not make sense and you make sense out of it. That is what he basically tried to say, right? So what is it? And I observed that Rajdeep used this one specific word to quickly be able to connect. So this is one thing which everybody struggles, right? How quickly can we connect to a topic? And why are we not quickly able to connect to a topic? So that is something which will be a great focus on what my session is going to be about today. So can we get a few more answers from, is there anybody who's like first year, first month or first second month Toastmaster here who's very fresh? Yeah. Oh. But this is going to be fun. We have like around 3, 6, 7 people. So we're going to do Inky Pinky Ponky, choose one. Can we choose? He raised his hands first, so let's go ahead.
So I
and deliver some value, that would be table topic.
Very nicely said. So what my friend over here said is that you basically take a story, you bring in emotions and different aspects which might or might not be factual, and you weave a speech out of that basically. So that is what we do in table topics. At the end of the day, nobody is going to ask you that today we're going to talk about global warming. 35% of the glaciers have melted for the past 3.5 years, and about 4,000 organizations are currently working on creating a global ecosystem on how we can preserve and save glaciers for the next 300 to 400 years. This silence is exactly what we don't need, because facts and figures are interesting. They're fun only to look at in the form of a graph or probably a pie chart or a GIF, which makes sense to you. But if someone says it to you factually, it doesn't make sense to you. But imagine if I say that I come from a forest location. I come from Kaur, and today lots of animals have lost their lives, and lots of forests have been, lot of trees have been cut down to make a road. And you know what that did? There used to be a peacock, there used to be a deer which used to come to my house every day, and for the past 2 years I have not seen it after the deforestation happened. What did that do? It created an impact, because everybody has lost something in their lives once. Everybody has a loss in their life. Do you all agree? And when I talk about my loss, what does that create? A connect, right? So the idea of impromptu speaking or table topics is to be able to create that connect as soon as possible, right? But when we look at topics, what happens is there are different types of topics. Now you cannot approach every topic in the same exact way, right? Do you all agree to that?
Yes.
Yes. So we cannot approach different topics. So what I've done is I've brought in a couple different ways, and normally how table topics are given to you. The first way on how a table topic can be given to you is the topic can be personal to you. What do I mean by personal? Now if I call in a volunteer and if I give him the topic, which was your best memory in the past 2 years? What does that mean? That the speaker will have to introspect. He has to go back to his past and bring in a story where he's talked about his best example or her best example of a memory which has made it happen, right? And the second type of topic which I have normally noticed are general topics. Now general topics can be anything. For example, if I were to ask you that what was the biggest impact of COVID in everybody's lives, right? So that is something general. Everybody will have an answer to that because everybody has experienced something similar, and it is not something specific to one person, right? So they are general topics, and the last thing is the most interesting and the fun one. These are called abstract topics. Now abstract topics can be left to your interpretation, right? So now if I were to ask you, a stitch in time saves 9. For people who understand English, for people who know proverbs, it definitely makes sense. But for someone who has absolutely no idea, I will definitely think about my experience as a tailor because it is entirely left to your interpretation, and you can never be wrong with an abstract topic, right? So these are 3 different types of topic that even when a table topic master comes on stage, they might give you this topic and it makes sense to all. So these are 3 different ways on how topics are generally given. Now comes the second part of what I want to tell all of you. Be it any topic, any different style, be it public, personal, general or abstract, there are a certain ways in how you can approach a topic. Now we are Toastmasters, and what is the first thing that we are taught? When we start delivering our speeches, a mentor comes up to you and says, okay, you are about to write your speech, very good. Look at the objectives. Now in the objectives, there is this first block which says that a speech will normally have a style. A style can be informational, humorous or whatever it is. But there is this second point which is more important. Even the evaluator will comment on this particular point. What is that?
Purpose.
Purpose, and there is another important aspect associated with purpose.
Message.
Message, okay. Effectiveness. Can we think on a framework level?
OBC.
Structure, right? So basically there is a structure that needs to come. So even when you're delivering an impromptu speech, our objective is for us to keep a structure in place in mind. And when a topic is given to us, if we are able to find that structure, opening, body and conclusion, it will be much easier for us to deliver the speech, right? Now, when a topic is given to you, when you are on stage, when a table topic master comes up to you and says, okay, here's the topic for all of you, or just the specific volunteer. Let's see, how many seconds do we normally get? We get 30 seconds, right? When we are in a Toastmasters meeting, normally it says, okay, if you want to take 30 seconds, you are allowed to take 30 seconds. But at a contest, what happens? How many seconds do you think that we get in a contest when you're given a table topic?
10 seconds.
All the day, 5
Until you speak, people know.
The person is already on stage, so you don't hardly get.
So we already know who the secret judges were in the previous contest, no? Right? All of you are correct, all of you are wrong. Because there is no specific set guideline about time which is mentioned when you are attempting a contest. So what does that mean? Are you allowed to take all the time in the world? No. But if I were to be a chief judge, what will I advise the timer? Wait for at least around 5 to 6 seconds and then start the timer. That's what I tell them. What do I mean by that? Because we want to create the best impact when we are on stage, and taking the most time will drag that effect away, right? So when you are practicing probably at a regular Toastmasters meeting, when you are just trying out table topics, you are allowed 30 seconds, and that is a good way to go about. So let's break these 30 seconds down and try to understand how we can connect to a specific topic, right? So when you are immediately given the topic, there are 4 things that I want everybody to try and do. The first and the most important thing is that the topic will be repeated twice. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Right. Topic will be announced twice and it will be given to you twice. First thing that everybody should do is listen to the damn topic. Alright? So imagine if you don't listen to everything that the table topic master says, then there is no question of us trying to attend the topic. Many a times, even in contests, I have noticed that there were many contestants who could not connect to the topic because they did not get a chance to properly listen to the topic. So first thing that you do when a topic is given to you, you listen thoroughly. Second thing that you have to do is understand the meaning of what the statement means, right? So when you get the meaning of it is when you will be able to create an interpretation of what that topic may mean. Now imagine if I say, is breakfast a good thing? Now there might be multiple interpretations to what a stand can be taken to that topic, correct? Now people may say that breakfast is definitely good for you. Yes. People may say that breakfast is probably not the most important thing of the day. I prefer fasting and eating well in the afternoon, right? Because I don't want to eat breakfast. I want to stay light in the morning. Then in the afternoon I'll have nice biryani or something like that. So that is an interpretation. And the last and the most important thing that you need to do when a topic is given to you is take a stand on the topic. So what happens when you take a stand on the topic? It becomes the conclusion itself, right? So what of the 3 parts of the structure did we already get as soon as the topic is given? Okay, yeah, let's get back to that. So first thing, when a topic is given to you, what do? You listen, understand the topic, give meaning to it, right? Then third thing, take a stand. Okay, yeah, let's break it down to just 3 steps. First thing is you listen to it properly. Second thing, you give meaning to it. Third thing, you take a stand in what the topic is. And when you take a stand, what happens? It becomes the conclusion of your story, right? So now if I were to say that when a topic, if the same topic, is breakfast good or not? So then if I say yes, it is good for me, what am I doing here? I am taking a stand towards the topic. And in the end of my story, what will I say? You should definitely have breakfast every day. So that is my stand and it becomes the conclusion. What is left now? Opening and body, and conclusion. Any confusions? Please feel free to stop me anytime, because considering this is an impromptu session, we will also have to take it impromptu. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate, feel free to ask. Right? So now opening and body is remaining. Right? So when your opening and body is remaining, what do? Your question is already given to you. You just find ways to use that question to create an answer. Now if I were to ask, okay, breakfast is good for you or it is not good for you, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Yes or no? Basically, yes or no. Right? Now all you did is you choose a yes or no. Done. Right? So now if I am going to say yes, that I need a breakfast to function well or something, so you associate a story towards that. That brings me to my most important part when a table topic is given to you. That is the connection aspect of it. Right? So when a topic is given to you, what you have to do is connect to the topic. That is how you build a story. Correct? Right? So when I was given a topic, or if I am given a topic, the first thing I do is I connect to the topic. And when I connect to the topic, I associate a story towards it. Right? When I associate a story towards the topic, what is left out? Introduction, body, and conclusion. Now, if I am associating a story to the topic, what is left out? Introduction. Right? So what am I doing now? I am creating a body with which I have a story. And when I have a story, how do I make sure that everybody is connecting with the story or not? What do you do? If you are telling a story, how do you make sure that the story is connecting to the audience or it is not connecting?
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Very good.
Make it humorous.
Make it humorous. Oh yeah, that is a good way to engage audience. Right?
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Okay.
How?
Sorry.
Eye contact.
Eye contact. Okay, these are different and great, amazing ways to connect with the audience, right? But when it comes to your story, when you're telling something personal, you generalize it, right? When you bring in a general sense, that is when you can make it relatable to the audience as well. Now, if I am talking about a pet cat which I raised for 3 years, people who have a pet dog may or may not relate, right? So when I say that animals, if I take animals as an overall umbrella, then it becomes applicable to everybody who are animals. Even people who are raising their kids will be able to right? So that is how you connect to an audience with your personal story by generalizing. So what I do when a table topic is given to me, now let's go back to square one. When a table topic is given to me, the first thing I do is I understand the topic, then I take a stand to words, if it's a yes or if it is a no. There may be different ways. I'm just giving a very common umbrella with a yes or no. There are multiple ways on how you can take a stand towards a topic. I'm just making it simple by giving a yes or no. Right? So you take a stand towards one side of the topic, you stick to that, and then you form a story behind the stand that you have taken. Maybe a yes or a no. If it is yes, why yes? Why yes? You give a story to say why it is, and then you generalize that story to make it relatable to the audience. Now what is left out? What is left out? Opening. Conclusion comes the first itself. The moment you take a stand, it becomes your conclusion. Right? So now comes the opening part of it. Why is an opening for any speech important? Why is the opening of any speech important?
It has to give the context to the audience.
Perfect. So it lays a foundation to the topic itself, right? Now, if I were to say that there is the same topic, is breakfast required, or should you have breakfast? Yes or no? Now imagine if I say yes, we need to have breakfast in the beginning itself. Do you think the audience will have something to care about for the rest of your speech? Obviously not, right? So in your introduction, the moment you choose your story, create an abstraction, create a visual image, or probably create an impactful introduction where you keep the audience suspenseful. Now, how do we do that? We can ask a lot of questions, or we can bring in an alliteration, an analogy, or something which is vague in nature but still connects to your story, right? So there are different ways on how you can do that. For example, if I were given the same topic, breakfast is important. Is breakfast important to you? Yes or no? Probably how I would approach it is, okay, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I finished my exercise. Oof. I just finished my exercise, now I'm going to. What did I create there?
No energy in your body.
Yes, I created a visual representation of a drop in my energy. Now, if I say that, imagine if all of you were to do the same. You wake up in the morning, you do an exercise, and you are bound to fall down if you are not having breakfast. Right? So that is how you create a visual representation with something very abstract. It does. Now, if I were to, if it was any other topic, imagine if you were not aware of the topic at all. Would you be able to make sense that I am going to talk about breakfast? Absolutely not. But did I catch everybody's attention with that action? Yes. So that is how you create an impactful introduction where you bring in either a visual or a verbal cue which captures everybody's attention, keeps suspenseful elements, and then helps you progress to the actual point. Right? So this is a very simple trick or a tool that everybody here can use when you come up to speak for your table topic session, is that create an impact in the beginning. You don't have to connect to anything, you don't have to make sense, because you already have picked the other two aspects, which is your conclusion, right? So now if I've said that breakfast is the most important aspect, and if I say no, I don't believe this, and if I go and fall, I'm contradicting with myself, right? But the moment you have taken stand that yes, breakfast is very important, I want to tell these people that, and if I fall down, it makes sense, right? So the moment you take a stand, you create the associated story with it. Now if I say that, okay, this was my story when I was working for so-and-so, I used to have this hectic schedule. Every morning I used to wake up at 6 o'clock, go to my gym, and one day I just fell down because I did not have breakfast. Now that becomes my story. Now I've shown a visual representation of it, and I brought in the exact story associated with it. So that is how I was able to create a simple demonstration of how a topic can be used. Now let's come to the conclusion part of it. How am I going to make sure that everybody is in line with me when I give the conclusion? There are multiple ways. I resort to one particular thing and it works very well for me. Right? I bring in two things. One, a call for action. What is a call for action? A call for action is something that you tell the audience to do. Right? Now if I'm going to ask all of you to promise me that tomorrow morning everybody are going to have breakfast, or after this meeting we're all going to have breakfast anyway. Right? So if I'm going to ask all of you to promise me that tomorrow morning you are all going to have breakfast, what am I doing? I'm bringing in that call for action. That I expect all of you to do this. My story, I fell down. I don't want any of you here to fall down like me. So will you all promise me that tomorrow morning you are going to have breakfast?
Yes.
Right now. Now that's the spirit. Now that's the spirit. Now at the end of the day, I was able to convince every single person here in the room that having breakfast is a good thing, and tomorrow morning everybody is going to have breakfast. So do you think that I have achieved my task of becoming an excellent impromptu speaker? Yes. And so have all of you. It takes practice. It takes practice, and it takes a lot of time to achieve perfection. No, there is no such thing as perfection, but close to perfection. Right? No, there is this very beautiful saying when they say practice makes man perfect, but nobody is perfect, then why practice? Now this is a good table topic. I think the master should consider this. Right? But our job is to get as close to perfection as we can. Right? So this is how we do it. have a simple structure where we have an opening, body and conclusion. When the topic is given to you, first try to take a stand where the topic on where you stand with the topic. Then when you are taking another 1 or 2 seconds to connect a story to it, you associate a story to it. And when you have a story, you also get a general idea about what the story is supposed to mean. And when you have all these things, you bring in an abstract, suspenseful, an interesting, an impactful way of creating an introduction with the story which you just showed. So this is a very simple way on how you can structure your table topic. Now all these things considered, everything we know, we now perfect on how we can bring in content for our table topic, right? Then comes another important aspect, something which I call preparation. Right? Now, do you all agree that impromptu is actually impromptu?
Not really.
No, can we get a yes or a no?
Yes.
Okay, how many of you say yes? That impromptu is actually impromptu. Okay, how many of you say no, it is not actually impromptu? No, that was impromptu. Yeah.
Hello.
No, I think somebody went to give the answer to my question. Right? So, the actual answer is yes, it's so perfect. It is actually correct. Both of you are correct. You know why? Because the part where it is impromptu is that you don't know what topic you can be given. You might have mugged all the table topics in the entire universe and the table topic master will still come up with something you've never heard before. Right? It is possible. That part is impromptu. Now there is another another area where it is actually impromptu or not impromptu. Where the response that you give might or might not be impromptu. Right? What do I mean by that? Because imagine if you are telling a story associated with a topic, do you think you are going to cook something up very new which has never happened before? We would advise you to not do it as well, right? But we normally try to connect with something or an aspect of our life which connects to the story or the topic itself, right? So that aspect of it is not impromptu. I mean, everybody are still welcome to try and cook a story right there on spot. But don't you think it is much easier to connect with something that has actually happened? Because you will have a better flow, you will have a better connect, and since you've lived every second of that incident, it is easy for you to convey it as, right? So this is another aspect which I want to talk about, which is called the preparation aspect for an impromptu or an impromptu speech, right? When it comes to preparation, there are 3 different things that you can keep prepared. First thing is a repository of words, right? Now imagine if I were to come up to all of you and say with simple English that table topics is good, everybody should practice impromptu speaking. Or imagine if I used words like spontaneity. Right? Spontaneity, the word itself captures you. Now instead of good, if I were to use amazing, amazing is a regularly used word, and it is still better than good. Good is just, you don't know if it is actually good or not. It's like a consolation prize when you go for a fancy dress competition, right? So you can create a repository of words which can replace common sounding words, which may or which may not make as much sense. The second thing that you can keep prepared are phrases that you come across. Now I accidentally wrote this phrase which I have never used so far in my life, which is so relevant to Toastmasters as well. You know, once while writing my icebreaker, I wrote this phrase that my mirror is my evaluator and my shadow is my mentor. Now imagine if I were to go use that in a prepared speech or in a table topic setup, would that not create an impact? Given that it should make sense with the context as well, right? But an impactful statement can always create an impact, right? rather than trying to be impromptu in creating impact, imagine if you already have these impactful phrases which you can use, which enhances what you're already trying to say. Does that not make sense? It does. Right? And the third thing that you can always use are anecdotes. Right? Now there is always a specific way on how you can tell a story. Now, how many of you watched a movie recently? Any of you watched a movie recently? Nobody watched movies. So which was the last movie that you watched? Court, is it? Can you tell me the story of Court in 10 seconds?
It starts with a love story.
Okay.
And
The man has his priorities.
now I remember the guidelines, so I'm
He's trying to create a visual experience.
so guy loved a girl who was less than 18.
Go demonstrate.
Okay. Oh, that's not a. They say age is just a number. They say jail is just a cell. Okay. So yeah, basically what happens now. My friend over here was able to tell me about a story from this movie, which is not Cool. Right? A basic love story. And this love story, what happens? There is someone who falls in love with an underage girl. Right? Now imagine if I were to ask him this same story 2 days later. Will he be able to tell me the story better? Why? Because it has already been told. Exactly. So that is it. You've all cracked the impromptu speaking story. Because you create a repository of anecdotes and you revise them. It enables you to have a better flow when you're telling the story. Now imagine if I were to ask all of you, what did you do yesterday? Can you tell me the whole day? Can you break it down for me? You will be able to do it better if you've already written it down. So that is a simple way on how you can connect to a topic. That there are multiple stories that everybody has gone through. Any inspiration? Okay, let's do this. Let's do a quick activity where we get everybody's story. We will get 5 different types of story. Can you start with Sheeb over here? Sheeb, can you tell me a happy story that you have in your life? A happy story.
Happy story is the first time I received my daughter in the hospital.
Okay. So his story is about how he received his daughter for the very first time at the hospital. That's his happy story. Now can we get someone who is sad and interested? A sad story, anyone? We'll get a volunteer. Yes, sir.
When I broke my phone screen, I was very sad. Display.
I have to check my phone. Okay. So him breaking his phone screen is his sad story. Now can we get a story where you have an achievement in your life, where you felt like you achieved something in your life? Can we get someone from here, this bed? Yes. We get 2 stories. Yes.
So for me, the achievement was when I was able to construct a house for my parents. That I feel that was a very big achievement for me.
Great, amazing. And how about you?
So when I started my own venture and we signed a first client.
Oh, good. If you have any openings, let me know. Okay, so him starting a venture, building a house, an achievement. Now, can you tell me a story where you felt inspired by someone? Can we get someone from here? Or how about the lady at the back, at the extreme end? Yeah, I know. Inspiration, something that really inspired you in your life.
Oh, there's this quote that inspires me. It's like it's very easy to give an example, but it is very difficult to be an example.
Very nice. And do you have a story associated with this topic? Because what ma'am gave is a table topic.
It was the
Do you have any experience where you felt really inspired by someone?
I have.
Okay, please.
Yeah, so like I thought it's easy to go for a swim.
Okay.
But then I saw my brother with a life jacket go for a swim. We both did not know how to swim. And then once I saw him, I can relate to that example that I was easily able to tell that it's easy, but when he did, I got inspired and then I wore a life jacket and then went in the water.
Okay, amazing. So you get it. So right now we were able to get around 6 to 7 different stories, given it that there are different people. But do you see that every topic or every story that we took was different from the other story? Do you all agree to that? And do you think when it comes to topics as well we experience the same thing? Right? Now if I were to give, let's not write it down, I will give you a story. If not now, a topic, not story. If not now, then when? If not now, then when? Right? So which of these stories will you be able to connect? Very easily.
The building of the house for the parents.
Okay.
Venture.
Okay.
Meeting the baby for the first
Venture.
Now we're receiving a doctor at the hospital. If not, now
9 months.
9 months as a second one.
yeah, but some things you will have to wait, but okay. But you get it. But the first thought that came to everybody's mind was to build a house, create, start a venture, right? Something that you can achieve, or something that you can really get easily inspired by. So these are topics you easily connect to such topics. Now let's get another example. If I were to say, what is the best memory of your life? Which story would you be able to connect to? Right. Now nobody will come up and say, okay, me watching my brother and me drown together was the best memory. Nobody would do that. Right? But you get it. So there are easy distinctions that you find with topics, and creating a repository of such stories will help you try and tackle topics. Now eventually, with practice, you will be able to do this spontaneously, but while you are still trying to, you have those training wheels, right? While you are trying to ride a bicycle. This is how you do it, right? So now, are you all feeling a little more confident? Are you all feeling better, more confident when you consider yourselves impromptu speakers?
Yes.
Right? Because now we have a clear picture in mind. Because what we need at the end of the day is a 1 to 2 minute speech. And what does a 1 to 2 minute speech have? Introduction, body, conclusion. Right? Most part of your story will go in that body itself. In that body, you divide it into 2 parts. One, you personalize the story. Second thing, you make it general for everybody to understand. Introduction is something where you create an impact, you make a bang, you just go big or you go home. You create a suspense, and in the conclusion, what do? You've taken a stand on the topic, you've kept people in a suspense throughout. You just reveal the suspense, that's it. Right? So this is a simple structure. Now let me give you another small tidbit on how you can divide your introduction and body and conclusion better. In terms of time, let me talk in terms of time. So we will have how many minutes before we see the red card?
1 minute.
2 minutes.
Right, 2 minutes before we see the red. Now how do we, since we don't really have a nice timer or something as such, what I mean by saying that we don't have a good or a nice timer is that they don't show us the time, they only show us cards. So we don't exactly know, we only have a ballpark of what we do. So what we can do is, while breaking it down, for the first 10 to 20 seconds, now how can we gauge 20 seconds? A 20 second can be gauged by around one paragraph of about 4 or 5 lines can be gauged as 20 seconds. Very easy, right? Or if you do an act, you can easily gauge time, because from walking from there till here took me around 2-3 seconds, right? Falling down and getting up took me another 5 seconds, right? So this is how you can have an approximate gauge of time. And your introduction should not be more than around 20 to 25 seconds. Why? Because you have a whole story to tell, right? And your story should be the key or the king of your speech. And because when you tell your story, that is where you're actually making sense out of the topic. Correct? So your story can take about 1 whole minute or 1 minute to 20 seconds. Now how much time are we left with? have around 30 to 40 seconds. In our 30 to 40 seconds, what do? We generalize and we repeat the topic with our stand. That is how we can wind up. And very safely within 2 minutes, we can conclude our speech. So are you all now comfortable and have an idea about how much time we can take to structure a speech? And every segment of the speech can take so much time. So this is just a rough way of understanding how you can break it down. Right? It is a safe way of understanding. Maybe once you get, or maybe once you feel very confident, you can play around with the time. Right? So that is generally what every experienced or seasoned Toastmaster or a speaker does. That they take liberty when they have confidence. And when you get confidence, take liberty. Nobody will ask you because you still have that extra 30 seconds buffer in the end to wind it. Right? Now comes the ending or the last part of it, where we speak about a small example and how we can take a story associated with it. Now let me take a topic which is called as either you run the day or the day runs you. You know why I took this topic? Because this was my topic in my district last year. Right? So this was a district level topic which is given, either you run the day or the day runs you. Now, okay, start. Anyone, can you give me the first approach that you will take? What is the first thing that you do? Do you agree to the topic or you disagree to the topic?
Agree.
Agree and disagree.
Agree and disagree, that is also possible. Yeah, yes. But we'll stick to just agree and disagree right now. Okay? So can we all stand towards one thing? Come on, make it difficult. Disagree. Disagree with the topic. Okay, agree or disagree? How many of you say agree?
Agree.
Everybody's agreeing. Okay, so these are the true enemies of impromptu because they want to stick to the same, but it's okay. It's completely fine. Right? So we agree to the topic. Okay. So our first step is to take a stand on the topic, and we've taken agree as our stand. Right? Now, what do? The second thing, what do? We connect a story to it. Right? Now, can you give me a sample story? Anybody can give me a story. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Give me a story.
Story of a 9 to 5 job versus.
Perfect. Because I think that was something which I gave as my example. Okay, so let's take a 9 to 5 job, right? Let's take a 9 to 9 job. Well, you're just sitting there, you're doing your work, you're not worrying about anything in your life, and then you from 25 you turn to 35, 35 you go to 45, and at the end of 45 you start worrying, oh, I think I've not lived my life. Now my joints are aching right now. I don't think I can go on that trek. What happens? We then realize when it is too late, right? So what did we give a justification to, saying that I took my own story where I was working from a 9 to 9, and there came this hypothetical situation where one day when I turned 45, I will not be able to do things which I really wanted to do in my life when I was a teen or probably in my 20s. And then I generalize it to all of you. How do I generalize it? By asking all of you. That do you think that everybody here who are still working, have you all achieved everything that you wanted to achieve in your life? Yes or no? You might say yes, you might say no. Why have you not achieved? It is because you always thought that your priority is only money, your priority is just working, getting your job done, and not worrying about things that actually made you happy. So today I ask all of you a question. Do you think that everything that you've always worked for, or your priority money or whatever it is that more important? Or at the end of your life you want to feel happy and satisfied? Is that important? Right? So then I come with my call for action, where I ask all of you, tomorrow, just today when you go back home, I want all of you to pick your hobby. How many of you here are writers? Okay, we have writers. How many of you here are artists? How many of you here are cooks, chefs, home cooks? How many of you here are musicians like myself? How many of you here are dancers? I want all of you to go back home and pick your hobby up. Because either you run the day or the day runs you, and you will be gone before anything even happens. So what did we do here? With this case, with this example, what did we do? We were able to take a stand on the topic, correct? We were able to connect a story to it, correct?
Yes.
We were able to find a conclusion to it where I give you all a call for action and I give my answer to the question. Done. Right? So this is it which I wanted to convey to all of you, and I don't think I have anything else. So any questions?
How do you do this to every topic? You can do it to some topics, but not all topics, right?
Give me do you have any topic in your mind where you think it's not possible?
Let me just say skating.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Good. That's a good question, because you see, I definitely agree with the fact that you cannot apply the same formula to all mathematical equations, right? So I mean, to all the problems that we have. So there are two things that we generally do. First thing is that when you are not familiar, or there always come these table topics where you just have no idea about it. Now if somebody asks me about it, I've never skated in my life, right? So what do I know about you? First you gather information. So this might take a little more time than regular topics for you to construct a story, because first you have to bring elements of awareness, or bring elements of what you know with the topic which you have no idea about. Then you have to convert it to something that you know, right? Now, what if somebody asks me about, okay, what was your worst experience with skating? I will say, although I have not skated in my life, the only place where I have skated is during my exams. What did I do? I twisted it into something that I am familiar. Now I'll talk about my exams. When did I skate with my exam? Probably when I was skating high in my rank or my grades or my marks, or I was skating low when I was going down with all my scores and everything, or probably I was skating next to the person who was sitting trying to copy his or her answers, right? So what did I do? I took something that is unfamiliar to me, converted it into something that is familiar. So that is a simple way of it. Right? Because normally, I totally agree with the fact that you cannot be prepared for every topic that comes to you. Right? You can only be prepared mentally on how you can tackle if any topics comes to you. That is the approach. Because you cannot be, but you have to prepare yourself to be. It is to do the impossible, basically. Right? Because there is no question that if you put me on a stage, you give me about thermonuclear astrophysics also, I will speak. My goal is to speak. I will speak, probably I will talk about what individually what I understand from the words. Thermo means heat. I'm a very hot person. I'm a hot-blooded person. I'm a hot-headed person. Nuclear. I'm a nuclear bubble myself. I'm so energetic that I will electrify everybody. Right? So I have no idea about what thermonuclear astrophysics is. But I will find a way to connect it either by making sense or by not making sense. My goal is to stand there and speak for you. So that is one approach on how you can do it. But there are multiple approaches. It all comes by practice. Okay. I hope I answered your question. Any more questions?
When you said you have to have a list of impactful phrases, what exactly do you mean? Like, do we write down the phrases and then we use it?
No, anything that you come across, right? If you feel these maybe thoughts, words, or something that any other speaker might also say, which you found really impactful. If it is really, or maybe humorous things. For example, I used this humorous line in my table topic, where either the day runs you or you run the day. That was my topic, and I had this pre-written joke where I say that I have this hobby and I was caught up with my hobby as well as my work. So I had no scope of staying connected with my parents. I would not call them. So one day my mom calls me and says, "Hi, do you remember who we are?" Okay, and I say, "Sorry, who is this?" And that is when the phone disconnected. I was up for adoption. Right? So what did I do? I had this pre-written, but in my context I was able to use it, where I said that either the day runs you or you run the day. I said that I was so caught up with all these things happening in my life, I lost touch with my parents itself. Then I brought this joke. Right? So probably if I did not have this joke, I would not be able to create that impact. But since I had it written down, I was able to use it. That is a simple way. Any more questions? Good, interesting, very good questions. I'd like to give you a round of applause. You all like I think you were about to ask me something, right?
I was just adding to the question.
Okay. Did I answer? Yes.
So you are new to Toastmasters or just generally new to speaking. Where do you start? And although you have given all these
Right.
techniques, but how do you build on it? And then in initial phase, how do you work on it?
For someone who is very new to public speaking, someone who has no idea about impromptu speaking, or see, so basically what happens, someone who comes new to stage, right, they won't even be able to have a proper structure. Do you agree to that? I struggled with structure for such a long time. Right? Every time I come on stage, so the only thing that I always used to, there are two things which I used to always rely on. The first thing is, again, taking a stand on the topic. Probably I would not think about introduction, creating suspense, creating impact, nothing. I would just tell that this is my stand towards this topic, and I would associate a story with it. Because I'm pretty sure everybody has a story. That too I am for sure. If you're not able to complete 2 minutes with one story, add 2 stories. Right? There is no restriction to how many anecdotes you can bring within a speech. And I think that is the basic idea, that you have to create yourself in such a mindset that I want to stand on the stage for 2 minutes. Even if I'm standing there without uttering a word, I will stand there for 2 minutes. That is one approach which I have personally seen working out for people who are not able to speak. So they at least try to speak a little. And there is one thing that I would urge to all of you as audience to help people out who are coming here, who are first time table topic speakers. What I generally do is, if people are not able to speak, if they're first time Toastmasters who are just coming in, they're guests and they're struggling to speak, I throw in questions at them from the audience. If I'm seeing that they're just standing there not able to think what to say. Now imagine, let's take a simple topic. For example, if we were to say, if not now then when, that was the topic which we spoke earlier of, right? So now if I'm standing there, can you throw me a few questions? Okay, let me start off with something and stop. And I want all of you to try and throw me questions which will help me continue the story, okay? Can someone introduce, Rajdeep sir, I would like to take the honor of getting introduced by you on stage with the topic. If not now, then
Please welcome on stage Suman, Somaiah, who's going to talk about the topic, if not now, when? If not now, when? Suman, Somaiah.
if not now, then when? Okay. If not now, then when? What it means is that we should always do things. We should not think about tomorrow. We should do things today itself. We will always have a lot of things that we want to do in our life. We should not wait. We should do it today.
What will you do today?
Something that I want to do.
What is that you want to do?
What are your passions? What really interests you?
That's a really good question. Now when somebody asks me, okay, what are you passionate about, or what is it something that everybody almost asks this similar question, but I was drawn towards this. But everybody asks similar questions, right? Where you say, okay, what do you want to do? Now I think what do you want to do might be a little difficult to address immediately, but you ask someone what your passions are, what your hobbies are, what your interests are, they will be easily drawn towards that. I am very passionate about music. I am very passionate about music.
Are you learning music? Are you learning music now?
Yes, I am learning music. I'm learning guitar actually. I want to learn how to play guitar and sing.
Why guitar and sing?
Because I watched this movie Rockstar. There was this actor by name Rannorey, and he was so good with that guitar. He was thrown out of the house, but at the end of the movie he becomes a rock star. And I also want to be a rock star one day.
Yeah, 2 minutes over.
But you get the idea. So at the end of the day, was I at least able to say some aspects which is associated with
But
the
you were
topic?
very confident. And even when you not acting confident, you were looking confident.
No, that is see sir, that is the goal. You fake it till you make it. Because at this point also I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know who you people are, but I'm still standing here talking to all of you, right? I didn't know that I'm going to get this question and I'm going to address it in this particular way, but I'm still doing it. That is the idea. Right? But so you get an idea, right? That when there is this first time speaker, they might require prompts, and it is good for and it is vigilant for us as audience to help prompt them, try to get them to speak. And once they start speaking, then it becomes difficult to stop them from speaking. So that is another ball game, and I'm pretty sure everybody will try to get that control eventually. Because I have overshot like around 15,000 times to get to a stage where I'm still overshotting probably like. Am I? Am I overshooting?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
With that note, in that case, let's all practice, and again, let's just do a quick summary in that case. Thank you for all your questions. And coming back to a summary, so when a table topic is given to you, what is your approach? Which is a general and simple workable approach. First thing, take a stand with the topic. Second thing, associate a story with it, connect to the topic with something personal, then generalize it. How do you generalize? Bring in a call for action, maybe generalize your story, ask questions to the audience, and then what do? Conclude. What do you conclude with? Your stand with the topic. With that note, this is me, Toastmaster Suman, with my table topic session. Hope I did not bore all of you with my impromptu speaking as well. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmasters Suman, for such an insightful session and sharing us repository of techniques how to handle table topics. I'm sure we all now feel like a pro. Am I right?
Yes.
So now it's time to recollect the repository of techniques that Suman has shared to you all, so that you all can apply in a while. With that, let's take a 5 minutes break. Tea
cookies
tea,
available in the
coffee,
restaurant. Just
in the opposite direction. So we apply your techniques.
Yeah, I'm going to evaluate everybody.
Now moving on to the next section. Please join me in welcome someone that I draw immense inspiration. He's someone who has helped me grow in my perspectives. He is a gold medalist in MCOM and MPhil, a national awardee, a keynote speaker and a motivational speaker, given several TEDx speeches, a TEDx speaker, a 5-time district champion in table topics and evaluation. Please join me in welcoming our table topic master, distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep.
Thank you so much, Priyanka, for that wonderful introduction. And okay, the first topic is: does table topic run you, or do you run table topics? No, but today we are going to have something very, very different. We are going to have a quiz come table topics, and today is a chance where if you're good at your general knowledge, you will have the chance to ask another person the table topic, right? So I'm going to ask certain questions. All of you keep your mobiles inside, and who's going to check that up? Priyanka, that you're not googling the answers?
Sure, sir, I'll check. I'll check my book.
Okay. Check up that they're not using the mobile. I'll ask you a question, and if you answer the question correctly, you have the chance to choose somebody and make him answer the table topic. Wow, so this is the time when you can take revenge on anybody you don't really like in the club. Do you want me to divide it into teams, or I'll just ask generally? Generally. Okay, generally. So let's start off with the first question for the day. What kind of physical activity is osculation? What kind of physical activity is osculation? Anybody wants to try? Just think and try. Osculation. A-O-S-C-U-L-A-T-I-O-N. What kind of physical activity is osculation?
Vibration.
Who said vibration?
Bryan.
Bryan. Very confident, wrong answer. Anybody else?
Speaking.
I'll take 3 responses, then I'll ask somebody.
What is meaning of osculation?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What kind of physical activity is osculation?
It is speaking, no? Speaking. Speaking with your mouth.
What with your mouth?
Speaking.
Who said that?
Sheeb.
Okay. Last person who can try. Nobody using a mobile, no?
No, sir.
No.
Basketball.
Basketball. Okay. Now the right answer is kissing. So now, Bryan, your topic is, because you answered first, you gave a confident wrong answer. Your topic is smiling is the second best thing you can do with your lips. Come on, straight. Please give a big round of applause. Smiling is the second best thing you can do with your lips.
Smiling is the best thing you can do with your lips. So I don't know if that was second for you, but it's perfect. Either ways, when someone speaks of smiling, I always get reminded of my mentor. Because each time I go on stage, I don't know why I have this behavior. I don't know if it's because I've been in NCC, we are not allowed to smile while in a parade. I am used to speaking in a stable, serious manner. And then each time I go on stage, Anand comes to me and like, Bryan, everything was right. Amazing, evaluation or whatever the speeches, but you forgot to smile. And then, each time I go on stage, it has become an integral. It has become a foundation to me, to be honest. And I somehow, in between my speech, I get reminded of him, and I somehow smile. It works when Alan has, told it to you many a times that it has become a part of your subconscious mind now. So I would say kissing on is different, but first thing that you can do with your thing is smile.
Excellent. You have to send this to Alan's wife. She'll feel a little insecure. He mentioned 4 times Alan in his speech. Even 2 minutes speech. That was a foundational phrase. Anyway, keep it up, Bryan. And Alan, be careful. Okay, the second question for you all is Japan has the shortest while Greece has the longest. What are we talking about? Japan has the shortest while Greece has the longest. What are we talking about? Hey, wait. You all please, Priyanka, regulate. If many people want to answer, we'll just one.
Raise your hand.
Well, if you don't want to raise your hand, you just answer. That's also somebody wanted to answer. Please try. Japan has the shortest, while Greece has the longest.
Height.
Huh?
Height.
Who height? What height? Please be specific. Come on. What's your name?
Srinivas.
Srinivas. People's height. Okay. Srinivas people. All Japanese are very short and all Greeks are tall. Okay.
History.
Okay. Somebody else started from the back?
Prakash.
Prakash, yeah? History. Japan is the shortest history. Okay.
River.
Greece has the longest history.
River.
Okay, which river? Japan. I thought okay. Who said river?
Beach. Ratan.
Ratan is saying river, okay. Okay. I'm going to give the right answer. National anthem. Japan has it only for 30 seconds while Greece it goes on, and that's why they cut out the paragraphs. So, since who said height? Srinivas. Srinivas, please come on stage. Your topic is if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Come.
I feel I can resonate with this topic. Many of my friends in Toastmasters were asking me why you are not so regular to Toastmasters. That is where I took a stand that I have to be so regular so that I I can be part of this wonderful club. If I would have not took that stand with last Friday, I would have not turned out today in front of you all. Right? A small stand can make a change in your life. If not, you can be an ordinary who's sitting on a Saturday, sleeping up to 10 o'clock, and then relaxed breakfast. And I believe all of you had taken a stand for a better speaking and better thinking. And that one day will definitely make you all a great speaker.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Very good. They'll all last Friday, you wouldn't have had such a beautiful table topic experience, right? Correct? So, anyway, let's go to the third question. The third question is, why is Accra the capital of Ghana? Ghana is a country, all of you know, South Africa, right? Why is Accra the capital of Ghana called the Nowhere City? Why is Accra, the capital of Ghana, called the Nowhere City? Anybody wants to try? Why is it called the Nowhere City? Simply, just take a guess.
City doesn't exist.
What? Who tried?
Bryan.
Bryan says it doesn't exist, okay?
No, it does not have.
Only Anand exists in his life. Yeah.
It does not have a water resource.
Huh?
It does not have a water resource.
What's my name? Who's?
Srinivas.
Srinivas. Okay, you say that it does not have any water resource. Okay, anybody else? Third right answer?
It's so beautiful that when you have nowhere to go, you go.
No.
That's what the table topic.
You went Accra ko laga dala to like Very good. The answer is, it is the city located on 0 degree latitude and 0 degree longitude. That's why there is no place. 0 on the map. That's why it is called it's situated exactly on the equator and exactly on the 0 degree longitude. That's why it's called the Nowhere City. So we'll ask Srinivas to come here. Now if there was one place in the universe which you would love to go, where would it be? And this topic I've taken from Srinivas Vungarala. Okay? He told me this. If there's one place in the universe where would you like to go, where would it be? And why?
How many of you like to travel? All of us like to travel. Everybody has that one destination in your mind you want to reach. The different heights, down to the seas. Always have that one thing in your heart. I want to explore. I want to see new places. As Dr. Rajdeep Manwani mentioned, which is a 0 city. Don't you think like we supposed to visit there? Yes. Because if you go there, if you open your water tap, look at your sink. Is the water going towards the right hand side? Is it circulating towards the right hand side? Or is it circulating towards the left hand side? Yes, since we are above the equator, all our water circulates towards the right hand side. If you crossing the equator, all the water which is draining down will circulate on the other side. If you wanted to witness that, please visit Africa, just like Rajdeep sir mentioned, where the water circulates on the right hand side, even on the left hand side also.
Oh, right,
Zero latitude and longitude.
Somaiah should take on special session. What have told you and what you
The places which I supposed to visit is our International Space Center, where I witness the entire universe, which you cannot see even at the top of Everest also.
Oh. Okay, let's go to the fourth topic. We are running out of time. Okay. If you were attacked by Pityriasis capitis, Pityriasis capitis, Capitus, what would you be suffering from? If you were attacked by Pityriasis capitis, what would you be suffering from? Unfortunately, we don't have Shreya here. She would have given the answer. Oh, Shreya, you're there. Now you think, no? If you were attacked by pityriasis capitis, what would you be suffering from? Who wants to try? Shreya?
I've never heard of that.
You are not studying properly. Anybody else?
Pain of a
Girish. Huh?
Girish.
Girish, yeah, tell me Girish.
Pain of a needle poking.
Pain of needle where?
On leg, wherever it is.
When needle poking means where? Okay.
Anywhere it pokes.
Anywhere it pokes. Okay. Okay, very good. Keep it up. Not right answer. Okay. Okay. Pityriasis capitis. Anybody? Second one. Last. Quickly. I'm asking. I thought these questions are very easy. Very.
Prakash is saying
On your head.
On your head. What? Who said that?
This is Amrit.
Amrit, you're all absolutely right, but in a different way. The answer is dandruff. Another name for the biological name for dandruff is pityriasis capitis. So we'll ask Shreya. Come Shreya. Not Shreya. We will ask. Hey, today I'm going to make an exception. We're going to ask Sheeb to give a table topic. The topic is bald is beautiful. Please give Sheeb a big round of applause. No problem of dandruff.
Yeah, definitely.
Bald is beautiful.
That's the topic.
Is that the topic?
Yeah. Don't you think that's so beautiful?
I heard one quote saying that God created so many heads. God created many heads and God created so many heads with hair and He created very few special heads without. And there was a time, in your life, because when I was 18 or 19, I was so sure that looking at my lineage on my dad's side, my dad is just like me, and my maternal side, my uncle is super. So I was dead sure that I can't escape baldness. So one thing, I at a very early age accepted that this is going to happen. So I'm pretty cool about that. And recently I read research saying that people who go bald has got higher amount of testosterone. That means we are hot and cool people.
My dad always used to tell me you'll come out shining on top. Okay, let's go to the last two questions. Chaitra, am I running out of time?
No, you're good.
Okay, let's go to the next question. The next question is quite simple. Okay, which is the only bird in the animal kingdom which never hops but always flies even for the smallest distance? Which is the only bird in the animal kingdom which never hops? You've seen these sparrows hopping, crows hopping, so those are out of the question, correct? But this bird will never hop even for the smallest distance. Even for the smallest distance, it will fly. Which is the only bird? Anybody wants to try?
Shreya is giving an answer.
Shreya, tell me.
Flamingos?
Flamingo? Absolutely wrong answer.
Swetha is giving an answer and she's answering eagle.
Eagle, okay, good try.
Peacock.
I'll tell you one more hint. Can I give you a hint? One hint. It's connected with Bangalore somewhere.
Bangalore.
It's connected somewhere in Bangalore in a 2-kilometer radius from here. Huh?
Kingfisher.
Ah, you got that. Kingfisher. The Kingfisher towers are around 2 kilometers. Who gave that answer? Mahavir. So Mahavir, you can choose anybody you want to answer the field topics. Whom do you want to call on stage? Who? Shreya, please come. Shreya, the topic is power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolute.
Okay, so what I got exactly from that topic and what he gave example is power corrupts you, and if you get corrupted, you go bald. There are exceptions, and few exceptions are only here in Bangalore Toastmasters Club. So no one here who's bald is corrupted. So be happy and don't be corrupted. Grow hair.
Power. Talk about power. Who do you think has power in this club?
So obviously, Sheeb. Yes, Sheeb.
And who's got absolute power? He will.
No corruption. If you what? I'm not contradicting my statement. If you want to grow hair, then you can always put rosemary oil. Rosemary in oil, heat it, and then you can grow hair. If you have a doubt, you can ask Bryan because he's using that only.
I've never seen such an unrelated answer. You can ask a kingfisher to pick you and your big hair will grow. Or I don't know, rosemary, power, and to Sheeb to do something. Gangadhar is still growing hair. Okay. Let's go to the next.
Growing hats, not hair.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to the last question. I'm going because I have to leave time for Srinivas. In normal jargon, or in office and normal jargon, what is, because I started with kissing, we'll end with kissing, what is tea kissing? What is TEAKISSING? I'll give you a hint. During breaks, during office hours, generally bosses and secretaries.
This is smoking.
Generally doing something else. What is tea? Who answered that? Guru. Who said smoking? Guru. 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 How many did you have today? How many tea kisses did you do today? Okay. Not the right answer. What is tea kissing? Think a little out of the box. Means if you can imagine whatever you want to imagine. But
Prakash is saying sipping.
huh?
Sipping.
Skipping. Huh?
Sipping.
Sipping. Sipping what, tea or?
Sipping tea.
Okay. Good guess. Tea kissing. Anybody else? Last question.
Smelling tea.
Smelling.
Smelling tea.
Smelling. Okay. The right answer is, remember when you had the biscuits, you kissed the biscuit into the tea and then you... Correct or not? So that is called as tea kissing. So who, Prakash, you want to answer? Or you want to choose somebody? We are close to the answer.
You
Want to choose somebody who will give the answer? Or you want to answer yourself? You will come on stage?
Yeah, I'll
Come. What do you think is the best beverage you've ever had? What is the best beverage you have ever had and why? Okay, go ahead. Experience with anything. Hot or cold.
I came to Bangalore in 2009 for the first time when I was in my 6th grade, and my brother had just got a job here, and he took us all to McDonald's, and there I had cola float, and then that became my best beverage till date. So there is a lot of cherish in having cola float, where you have ice cream on the top, and then the cola is at the bottom, and then you have ice cubes, so you can have ice cream, vanilla, different flavors of ice cream, and then different flavors of cola, and it has its own flavor. So I urge all of you to go and have cola float in McDonald's, and I am sure you will love it.
Very
good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm running out of time, so I'll ask my co-table topic master Srinivas Vungarala to take over from here. I hope you enjoyed the first part of the thing.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep and Manwani. You know, one of the most important thing about growing your perspective is also about growing your knowledge. And that is what Rajdeep sir taught us today in this table topic session. I'm sure we gained a lot of knowledge with his quiz questions. Let us all give him a huge round of applause and thank you for this interesting day. Now please join me in welcoming the second table topic master. He is a cyber security manager at Wells Fargo. He stands as the epitome for this phrase, a friend in need is a friend indeed. An amazing friend. And lately, he has developed great interest in AI. His aim is to understand AI and understand what is it going to do in the next decade. Please join me in welcoming someone who loves smiling and laughing, Toastmaster Srinivas Vungarala.
Thanks, Priyanka, for such a wonderful introduction. So, I know most of you were versed with the IQ of Rajdeep sir. Now I will simplify and give you a very easy topic where you can have fun on the stage. So, now to start with, I would like to give a topic. Which is that fashion thing which you feel is better that it has discontinued? Let me repeat for you. Which is that fashion statement, according to you, which was very, very popular, but it went away for good? For that, I would like to call Girish.
Morning, everyone. Sitting there, I was just trying to put across what we learned in the morning, but I think absolutely banning that now for that moment. So, what is that fashion element which you think is good for gone? Yeah. On the contrary, I believe that really the fashion element that I loved in my college days was bell-bottom pants. I loved it so much that I was actually in my college. Everybody was looking forward for me. What is that new thing that he brings in bell-bottom? Because when I say bell-bottom, probably I don't know most of you guys now, at least especially let's say guys with 10, 15 years down the line of my age, would have not probably worn it, but it had its own unique advantages or style statements in that matter. When I was in college, I was trying to make my fashion statement by wearing that in different fashions. When I mean that, one is on one particular day you wear this bell-bottom, which is to an extent probably everybody know that with the pant, the sleeves of towards end would be very broader as compared to the other portion of the pants. Yeah, and the next, how do we improvise it? That is what we would like to think. Okay, and we had a gang as well. Okay, who was wearing the best one? And then we said, okay, we come up with new ideas. Of course, we used to copy there, here and there, of course, and there always. The next one level of version improvised was putting a chain at the bottom. I don't know whether you guys have seen that. That was also the level 2 or level 1 improvisation. So probably the next one. Bye bye. Thanks for this.
I hope you would have understood this tip, right? He has prepared for this, and the experience speaks. He has seen the times. Thanks, Girish. So now, since we have spoken about the age times, now let me give another topic. Who is the boss at home? You or your wife? Who is the boss at home? You or your wife? To call upon Guru. So do you think who is the boss at home?
do.
So I came from a sales background. So if you don't know how to convince, confuse. Always confuse. So automatically, whatever they say, you rotate, and come back like a cow story. So take back to the story what you want. So that is an art. So if you know art of convincing people, understanding people, automatically the leadership changes. So leadership is not constant. It always changes. So we can always has that flexibility to change the leadership from one person to another person. So having said that, we always need to give the position to them, but end of the day, we have to influence the decisions. So have to take more decisions. So ultimately, the weightage is in our hands. So credit has to be given to them. Am I right, or am I talking anything sense? Or finally, yeah, my agenda is to confuse them, not to give the direct answer. But at the end of the day, we will give the credits to them. But ultimately, we will take the decisions. Thank you. Over to the.
I think that is one tip. Confuse if you can't speak. So now, coming to the important topic, I'm gonna give it to someone who is the most stylish person in the room, okay, and whom we rely. And the meeting has run because of money, right? So, what is the last time you have said to someone, "I love you"?
After I said I love you to someone who is like to Srinivas right now, I love him for giving me this opportunity. I love him for thinking of me and having a fond idea of who I am. I didn't do anything for this, I just showed up. So, yeah. The last person I said I love you to was my mom before I came today. I woke up in the morning, she woke up, like, why are you going out so early in the morning? I was like, yeah, I'm going to Toastmasters, like, why so early in the morning? And she was questioning if I was actually going to Toastmasters or if I was going to meet someone else while I was coming here this early. So, yeah, that was the last person that I said I love you to. And I would also say I love you to the timer right now. Apparently she's not going to, so rejection. Yeah, sometimes that's the way you get. Green is the color of love.
Good. Since we spoke about love, now how will you reject that offer? Okay. What is the best way to say no? And what I repeat, what is the best way to say no? And for that, I would like to call upon Sonal.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and friends.
Good morning.
So I remember in one of the meetings I don't remember the exact story. There is one person who is a sales guy and there was a one man who was trying to get an offer letter from this person. He wants to, like, there is a saying, you don't sell first, right? So this man was not selling, this man was not uttering a word, this man didn't utter a word, this man did not utter a word. Like this, the silence continued for almost like 2 hours, and this gentleman offered him a job. Now, why I'm connecting this with my topic is like when you have to say no, in case if you can say no, and you see that the relationship between the person is not affecting, it's good. You can say no in a manipulative way. But if you say no and you think that, okay, the relationship is going to ruin, it's better to say nothing. If you can just keep quiet, and I think the life would be more beautiful, because ultimately the person will understand. There is one more thing, it comes into my profession. When you reach out to something, and it happens with the people those who are into business, when you reach out to something, people say, I'll get back to you. They don't say no directly. So I think this is my biggest lesson. And even more, when you are reaching out to somebody, you will say, I'll get back to you, I'll think about it. You don't say no directly. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks. So we learned the art of saying no. Now let's implement in which activities makes you lose track of time. Because after hearing no, you have to lose track of this. So to call upon the person has escaped. So I would like to call Prakash. Which activities make you lose track of time? That was dedicated.
Good morning, dear Toastmasters. Good morning. Okay, when particularly go into activities like my job, day job, like my programming, my office work, whatever it is, I always set my mindset, I have to be dedicated to that. I have to set alarms to come out of that. Otherwise, I will go deep in, asking questions, what next, what next. Then kind of, if any difficult or very complicated situation comes, I have to break down all the complicated stories to small stories. Then that makes me kind of my time, okay, yeah, like it occupies my complete entire hour, even beyond that. So to get out of that, I have to have kind of a cup of coffee with my colleagues. They will call me out, okay, yeah, you will come. Then I immediately check, okay, what are the things, what are the broken down stories I forgot, or I have to do that. So the going deep, how that habit came to me is that meditation. So like every day morning when I do meditation, right? Sometimes I used to forget it, how much time it took. So that meditation is the one I always ask you or everybody to practice that. That will make you last your time.
Thanks. Even I do meditation to kill the time. So now coming to the new topic. What is the greatest innovation which has happened in the world in the last 50 years? And what was what was the greatest invention which has happened in 50 years? To call upon, I would like to call Ratan.
I think there is nothing like the greatest innovation. It is something very subjective. So I would like to say that whenever you innovate, always think of it as something which is the greatest innovation. One need not, do something great, but whatever you innovate, you need to do it in a great way. Which means that it's not about what you bring to the table; it's how you bring it to the table. So, for instance, we had a Good Friday coming up yesterday, and the club decided that they were to have a meeting outside. Now the point is, it is very easy to do it by just adopting what has been done before. Have a meeting outdoors where you would have the open air and have it in the same format. But to think that you will have only table topics, you will have an educational session, you will have table topics by 2 table topic masters, you will have, I don't know whether it's already declared, but I'll spill the, okay, I won't spill the beans. Because somebody is nodding their head very, very feverishly. So there is another twist which you don't even know about. So I'm saying the very fact that you want to innovate, whatever is past 50 years back, 30 years back, 2 years back, 2 days back, forget it. Innovate now. That's
Speaking about innovation, and switching back to love topic once again. So, what do you love about yourself? And repeat, what do you love about yourself? For that, I would like to call upon Shreya.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So, the very unique thing which I love about myself is I like changes in my life. I don't want to be monotonous or do the same thing again and again, just like what we do. We go to office, 9 to 5, come back, home, then sleep, and then it continues. So, just to break all these kind of monotonous life, I just decided that I'll learn dance on weekends. I've decided that I want to improve myself, and that's where I'm here in front of you to change what I am to what I want to be. This has not only changed me personally whenever I have conversation with different friends of mine, but also in office whenever I give demos, whenever I speak in front of my team. It helped me a lot in all those areas. I think going in a straight line, like if you have an x and y axis, and if you have a life which has only parallel line towards the x-axis, will not add interest or activeness towards in your life. So always try to do something different what you're doing, which makes your life good.
I think by seeing all your faces, I know that I'm standing in between your breakfast. So with that wish, I'm giving you a topic. If I could grant you one wish, what would you wish for? So for that, I would like to call upon Jacob.
Always been asked this question. If I had one wish, what would I wish for? And I've always answered it with the same answer. I wish I had the touch of Midas. Midas was a legendary king or a philosopher. M-I-D-A-S, Midas. So I don't know Priyanka, whether you're able to connect with me. He was a legendary king. If he touched anything, it would turn to gold. I always wish that I had this touch. And I'm happy to say that to some extent I've been blessed with a tight touch of Midas. Most things I have touched have turned to gold. looking at it in a very philosophical way. The things I've touched may be people. I've been able to touch people and they've transformed themselves into somebody exceptional, which I really enjoy. I've touched ventures, business, which has made me a lot of money. I've also had the opportunity to touch somebody very divine. People call it God. I've been able to touch him in such a way that he has sent me. Thank you. Over to you.
It was a good food for thought. But let's wait for my next topic. What is the greatest skill which you have? I repeat, what is that one greatest skill which you have, which we don't know? To call upon Vineeth. Let's have a
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Actually, I'm kind of a person who looks more over on the negative side of mine, being an imposter, trying to be the perfectionist. But if you ask me of one positive side of mine, I would say curiosity. This is something people have pointed out in me because I am someone out of curiosity who try to explore everything. So let's take Toastmasters as an example. So before joining this club, I was here 1 year back and I tried multiple other clubs. And people were asking me for suggestions. How's that club? Like say Panaswati Club, how's Mangla Club, how's Indranagar Club? And they were amazed how you have explored so many clubs. So that is one thing that out of curiosity I wanted to know what is happening in other clubs. And this also helps me in exploring my passions, sports and traveling. So let's say sports, swimming is something I have explored a lot of coaches. And if somebody wants suggestion for a coach, they come to me. Vineeth, you want to learn, let's say, butterfly stroke. Which coach to pick? I can suggest them a coach which has gold medal in nationals. Somebody wants to have a suggestion on travel. I can suggest them a place. Let's say if you want peace, you want adventure. What do you want? If you want peace, go Banaras, go Sheetla Ghat. If you want adventure, go Rishikesh. So all these suggestions right now I am able to add value in the lives of people just due to curiosity. And I would suggest be curious and it would help you to make a good image of yourself. So thank you.
So, due to time crunch, I'll do an innovation now. I'll call upon 3 people and you have to speak 30 seconds each. So, first Nitesh, Ravi, Asha.
Srinivas, for the evaluators' benefit, can you give the name so that accordingly we can start our evaluation of respective speakers?
Ravi.
Sorry, Clarify, what's the name?
Ravi.
R-A-V-I. Okay, great.
So, how we are going to do is, where you leave, you have to start. And it should continue in such a way. The story should be same. Okay? Which is worse, failing or not trying? Starts with where you leave, you have to start. And then
Definitely, I would take the side of not trying because not trying is worse than failing. Because when you, in your life, there will be instances where you have to do something that's challenging, it is out of the territory that you have already worked for. And there sometimes you don't take that chance, and you just to regret it later, maybe 10 years down the line, that I should have taken that chance. So even if you just take the chance, even if you fail, that is still okay. You will learn from it. So that's it.
in our everyday life. Like we need to set a plan, so then our time won't be wasted and it will be properly aligned and it impacts in our growth also. So gradually over the period of time, we time ourselves for the plan we make on every day, and that's going to impact other lives too. Okay.
So I would conclude that we should keep trying and should not settle for whatever we have. So keep trying, try and try. As we say that fake it till you make it. Similarly, keep trying till you succeed. So don't give up for failure, but keep trying. One or the other day, definitely we all will succeed.
That comes to the end. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Call upon Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Srinivas, for such thought-provoking topics. I'm sure you all had a great time and were able to apply the techniques that I shared to you all.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Now to burst the bubble that many of you were probably staying in, now it's time to know how well that you all prepare to read the topics. Are you all ready for that?
Yes.
This is the time that we're going to grow now in our perspective, knowledge, and as human. For that, let me first invite our first evaluator. So please join me in welcoming someone who has a very interesting, unique, I can say, talent, where he writes thriller stories in one line. It's called Twisted Tiny Tales. If anyone of you have not read it, please subscribe in Instagram and you will actually get to read it. It's beautiful because I have read all the stories. He is not an avid reader but an avid listener. He enjoys listening to autobiography, audiobooks and podcasts. Please join me in welcoming our first evaluator, Toastmaster Anand.
I think I'll be failing in my evaluation if my evaluation is longer than the table topic the speech. So I will try to keep it within 30 seconds for each speaker. Let's start with Bryan, who spoke more about me than in his speech itself. Right? So one thing, Bryan, is I felt your opening could have been better, taking a leaf from what was already said. Now, before Rajdeep invited you, he spoke about, kissing, right? It just intrigues you. You went into a personal story, which is great, but it acted as a body, right? So even if you took something like, who likes to talk? That's something that you do with your lips, but it just creates a little bit of intrigue. I felt you encapsulated it really well in the end by saying that though the topic said second best thing for you, smile was the most important thing. So that was a good spin, and I felt that was appropriate. So please give Bryan a huge round of applause. Secondly, we had Bald and the beautiful Sheeb, Kumar, who I'm going to be evaluating. Now, I must compliment Sheeb on his good attempt at opening with intrigue. The most inspiring part of his table topic was that even though he was struggling to get that line, he just kept going at it, right? Which I felt was very relatable for all of us who are coming here and trying to make it. Most of them try, they fail, and they just get off stage, right? So I felt he, in fact, said it 2-3 times, faltered, but in the end, he won, which was, I felt, good. The only thing is, it was a great attempt at a body, but he just ended abruptly. I think at the basic level, if he had just ended with saying, this is why I feel Bald is beautiful, is a good conclusion to what is being said. That is that being said, now we move on to the next person whose fashion statement, whose topic was which is the fashion statement which has been discontinued for the better, which Girish took up. Girish, great, you had a lot of idea about what you wanted to say, but if you just spoke about, as again, building intrigue, who knows what a bell bottom is, right? Again, just intrigue, straight intrigue, and then you had a great body to conclude instead of just starting with that story. Very relatable topic. Even if it's not relatable, I want to know what a bell bottom is. That was good. Again, abrupt ending. You just said bye bye. Instead of that, again, basic end. This is why I feel that the bell bottom is the best way to think. Very simple. Just encapsulate. Just use bell bottom. That would have added a lot of finality to it. What the next person I'm evaluating, what is the best way to say no? Sonal was there. Now Sonal, now if I were you, just again, instead of getting into the story, who finds it difficult to say no here? Right? Again, intrigue. Then you build on to your story. I think it just becomes more effective. Though I felt that your body was very relatable. Good conclusion, well encapsulated, and kudos to you for that. Please give Sonal and the others a great round of applause. Now moving on to Swetha, what do you love about yourself? Again, Swetha, intrigue. Just asking this question, who here doesn't like to change, right? What I love about myself is that I don't like to change. And that's why these are the reasons. I felt that would have added a lot of flavor and made it a lot more interesting as you took it into the body. I loved your ending. Do something that makes your life beautiful. It's great. It's a refreshing conclusion. It's also food for thought. Now moving on to the last storytelling table topic that happened. The topic was which is worse, failing or not trying. Nitesh, you started and you said definitely, which I felt you should have avoided, as that finality is a deterrent for further content, right? If you had just said, for example, if you started with saying failure is the stepping stone of success, why? Because of this. But if I say definitely, I stop it, and it becomes even more difficult for the next person to start speaking. That was my evaluation, and back to the
Thank you so much, Evaluator Toastmaster Anand, for such insightful feedback. Now calling upon the second evaluator. He's an author, written an amazing book called Delight Customers. I don't know how many of you have read. Very short, beautiful stories about it. He has recently visited Rishikesh and completed his meditation teacher training program. And right now, he's on the path, the journey of happiness. Please join me in welcoming our second evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Gangadhar.
Good hungry morning to all Toastmasters. I always thought that evaluating tabletops was easy because simply that's it and doing it. But when we're doing the juggling work like this, it's not. Okay, let's dive straight into it. I took topics, which is the second topic in the cycle of our speakers. And the second topic was, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And this was taken by Srinivas. Now, the moment you came, your first thoughts moved, or you want to relate anything with Toastmasters, as I gathered. And you related with that, and you got into the subject somewhere midway, whereby, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Somewhere midway, then it's important how Toastmasters help and how you must take Toastmasters, and you had a call for action. But as we had gone through the education session, if you had just given a little bit of a pause and said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. It's like, any situation in life, think for yourself and then take a call, yes or no. Otherwise, you will be taken for a ride by everybody. That would have been the way you would have handled that situation. Moving on, we had Shreya. corrupts absolutely. When I evaluate, I think it's easy, but I can understand when you really come here wondering, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? And then you have somebody like Dr. Rajdeep Manwani asking you a question like that. Before that was a very difficult question about the kingfisher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But the kingfisher itself could have given you a clue to the topic of power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power corrupts, it could happen to you, but absolute power corrupts absolutely to somebody like Vijay Mallya. You could have easily related that, but what I admire is you stood ground, come what may, the 2 minutes. You spoke about what you wanted to speak about, which is a very good thing. Because standing ground in table topics is very, very important. You did that. And you start off with the bald head and how to take care of the bald head. But kudos for that. Give it a thought. Try and relate. Don't get, intimidated by whoever or the topic itself. You will do wonders, I'm sure. Moving on. Who is the boss at home? You or your wife? By Guru. You start off very well with the question. Typical salesman kind of an technique. And you also followed through with the same thing. If you can't convince, confuse. And somewhere midway you got onto the fence and then started looking on both sides. And then realized that, okay, give credit to them, but take the decision yourself. Whereas this was a topic where you don't have to take a stand. It could have been both ways. You are in the fence. There are times I am the boss, and there are times my wife is the boss. It's not necessarily that I have to listen to her, or she has to always listen to me. It could have been very easily tackled. I felt so. But again, it's a question of the few seconds, the topic, comprehending, delivering. Would have helped a lot. But you took it from a sales point of view because that's what came to your mind the first thing in the table topic. Well done. Which activities make you lose track of time? And Prakash, am I right? I think you did this very well in the sense you indirectly spoke against the topic. It's not that lose track of time. You spoke of activities where you can track time, whereby you took your daily schedules and how you keep an alarm for it and work around that alarm, including your breaks. And then somehow you managed to, when you were holding ground here, added meditation into that and sort of connected it. And it seemed to resonate when you were talking about how you can track time. So I think that was very well done. And I wouldn't say, there's any state of confusion when you are handling that particular topic set. Finally, we come to, if I could grant you one wish, what would you wish for? Jacob, the first thing that comes to anybody's mind would be something like that, Midas touch. And you took that very well, in the sense that you took it to your personal stories, whereby whoever you have been with, you managed to help them, and in the end you started exaggerating. The last 1 minute was I touched this and I touched that and I touched this and I touched this. There maybe you could have regulated, or maybe put your personal stories of how things might have happened, home, wife, child, or anybody else, friend, how it could have happened, rather than being very generic. Otherwise, yes, you can't help. That's a thing that comes to your mind, and that's the one you relate. And finally, lack of time, story continuation, failing and not trying. You really choke the person in 30 seconds because the person can't speak much. Ravi did manage to take the story, but what I understood, the 30-second gist was set a plan and work on that. And before I conclude and go back, I wish, Suman, you would also talk about how a table topic master ought to handle situations rather than only tackling table topics. Both are equally important aspects of the same coin. Back to you, Toastmasters.
founder and a trainer in Staxo Academy. He has a very keen eye to detail. I'm sure many of you might have witnessed that. He's a current area director B2. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Shashank Park.
Thank you very much. I'll be evaluating the speakers in order of multiples of 3. So my first target speaker was Toastmaster Srinivas, who was the third speaker. The topic was, there was one place in the universe to go, where would it be and why? He started off with a beautiful intro. He started with a question and got us engaged. So all of us maybe started thinking, where did I travel or where could I go? Then he moved on to the actual content regarding the Ghana, the water, Anand, etc. One biggest positive I've come across listening to Srinivas from so many weeks is his improvement in his delivery, his voice modulation and his loudness as well. It was in one tone previously. I think that voice modulation is what has been brilliant in his speech. However, a couple of points to make a note. The entire context about the water tap, Ghana, etc. was not relevant to the topic. Because at the end of the day, you said, I want to go to ISS. So your entire story could have revolved under ISS or something different. You could have started the question by saying, how many of you would like to travel to a place where you've never been? Or you could have started by saying, have you seen Earth like never before? Something related to the context. So we are with you with that suspense, and you could have bursted at the end by saying, I want to go to the ISS. And why ISS? Again, that is one thing which you actually missed. So the entire topic was not relevant, but conclusion could have been better as to saying why specifically. Next speaker is Prakash. Is he here?
Yeah.
Yes. So what is the best beverage you have ever had? Again, to quickly summarize, you started with a body and not an introduction. You started by saying, I came to Bangalore in 6th grade 2009, cola float was the best beverage. But you could have started with a suspense. There was no introduction in your speech. You would have said, how many of you like ice creams? How many of you like Coke? How would it be if you add ice cream with Coke as a dish, as a sweet? And then you could talk about why that is your favorite dish. And then you could give a context and say why. And to conclude, why should we try that? So that was missing. So entire structure itself was missing. It was only a short snippet shared by you. However, if you could add why, what is the Coke float and why should we try it? Challenges. Saying next time you come across this, try this. Something of that sort. So that could have added more value. But at least I appreciate the confidence with which you spoke throughout the 1.5 minutes which you had. So great job there. Next speaker was Kenneth. The topic was, when was the last time you said I love you? Now you could have done so much more with this topic, but unfortunately you're waiting for the green card to be shown. And this is a platform where you have to try it out and not try to run away. It's a small heads up I want to give you. Just take it as a challenge. Speak for 1.5 minutes. Wait for the red card to be shown, not for the green card to be shown. However, you started by saying you said I love you to Srinivas because he gave this topic to you. Again, not related at all. You could have directly started by saying I said I love you to my mother this morning because of you. And unfortunately, that was only conversation in your entire script. Said I love you because she asked me where you are going, and I said I'm going here, not going, etc. End of story. You could have done so much more with this topic. You could have added something like, when was the last time you said I love you to someone? Counter question to someone, or end with a beautiful message, because there was no message. There was no why did you say I love you. Maybe some emotional message saying when you love someone, tell them I love you before it's too late, or else tomorrow the person will not be there for you to tell I love you. Some message like this where we can actually take back. So introduction and conclusion was missing. You only had a small snippet about the body of the speech. Maybe start with something different, end with a message or why, that would be better. Next was Toastmaster Ratan. The topic was, what was the greatest invention or innovation which happened in the last 50 years? Now the problem with this topic is the table topic master said invention first then innovation. So it was confusing. I think you found it a little difficult to speak. But your introduction had 3 to 4 lengthy sentences and we lost you there. While Toastmasters Suman told not more than 20 seconds. You could have made 1 or 2 sentences, then moved on to the entire story of how Toastmasters, outdoor meeting, etc. Because your introduction was too long and your conclusion was just innovate now. There was no message for us. And why to innovate or be different or make one or two more points. So take the time from introduction, move to conclusion. I think that's what which you missed. And if I have to look at it from a context-wise in your speech, the only thing is it was not directly relevant to the topic, even though you tried to link it to the topic, saying what was the greatest innovation or innovation. Maybe some light on that, what part, and maybe if you could link it, maybe it would have been better context-wise. So that is where you could lose your marks there. Last speaker, I know I'm seeing the red card here. Vineeth is the next speaker. What was the greatest skill you ever have? Again, quickly to summarize. You started with the negative, saying it's a negative, I'm an imposter, etc. Again, if you're not using that at all in your script, better not to use it at all. Or if you could have a conclusion relevant to the introduction, which is negative, then it makes sense. Because you started with negative, you spoke about 3 points, which is curiosity, and you gave examples of Toastmasters, swimming, and travel. While it was good, you could have ended again with a negative point, which you started off, or something to do with the negative thing, you being imposter, or you could have added. You could have made us curious as well. Maybe because you said I would be curious, to add value and be curious, maybe leave us with some curiosity. Maybe talk about a nice place which most of us may not know. Talk about a nice, I think you gave an analogy of reference of some swimming pool which we may not know. Make us curious when you leave. If that is your skill, make the most out of it. The last speaker was Asha. I know it's difficult because when you have 3 speakers there, worst failing or not trying. Your job was to conclude which you did really well. If you understood the assignment well, because one person started, second person had a body, you had to conclude, you did brilliantly well. However, you started by saying, I would like to conclude, instead you could have concluded directly. So, you said keep trying, take it till you make it, etc. What you could have done extra is reiterate what the introduction and the body was, and then conclude, because in this context it would have made more sense. So keep trying, don't give up, and then you could have concluded, but or else a brilliant job done by you. So summarize the entire table topic session. Again, start differently, start where people will be hooked on to what you actually say than giving few sentences. Don't end with a thank you. Don't end with thank you table topic master or start with thank you table topic master. End with a bang. Let us keep thinking when you end and focus on why than saying what. Because why will have value than saying what. So with that, thank you for the opportunity. Back to the table.
Thank you so much, Amrit, so much, Asha. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Today's meeting was improvised like a pro, and I hope you all feel like a pro now. You members over here who shy away from table topics, I hope from the upcoming meetings you all will come forward and take part in table topics. On that note, I hope you had a great morning and meeting. It's time for me to sign off. Over to you, Mr. President.
Can you all see me?
Yes.
A hungry man cannot see right or wrong. Yes. So I think just before concluding, I invite Toastmaster Suman to receive a top round appreciation from our side. And a few top round appreciation for the role takers, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Manwani.
Srinivas.
To our MC Toastmaster Priyanka. Evaluators, the Chief Toastmaster Prakash. Evaluator Toastmaster Anand. Toastmaster Shisham Bhatt. I have a brain for anyone? Srinivas. Vungarala. I'm really feeling hungry. Yes. timer also works. Timer.
Having breakfast.
Thank you so much for joining with us. And with this, I close the meeting 1474.